What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today? All right, I know I'm late for the Monster Balance patch, but better late than never, I guess. But I'm actually very excited for this patch. Now, I'm going to go over everything, talk about everything. I'm going to do this in a little bit of a different style. I'm going to read the patch off of the website, and we're going to be looking at the monster skills where they change the skill around, and we'll see how it works out. Let me know how you guys think, what you guys think about the way I'm going to do it right now. But anyway, so the first thing that I saw, which was a much needed, it's like a mini nerf. It's not much of a nerf. It's a mini nerf though. The Wind and Light Fairy King, ventilate. Okay, ally target including yourself for ally target excluding yourself, meaning he can't use ventilate on himself anymore. Look. Ventilate is already pretty OP. So, like, the fact of the matter is, when he uses his third skill and he violent procs and he ventilates himself, and he has his third skill again on the next turn, especially in RTA, it's game over. So, he's still a very OP monster. This is like a little mini nerf, but whatever. So then we got the Light Fairy King. The Light Fairy King is the one that got nerfed and buffed at the same time. So decreases the cooldown of his third skill, Light of Judgment. It ignores defense from 6 to 5 turns. The only reason why I don't have everything, I don't have the Fairy King showing up right now is because I don't have anybody on my friends list with a Fairy King, so I know what the actual cooldown is. But it's either already probably a 4-turn cooldown. Now it's probably now it's a 3-turn cooldown after you double monitor and everything. That's pretty OP. That's actually pretty nuts because this skill already ignores defense. So let's see how that turns out. It's a good thing not too many people have them. So the first buff is Heavenly Blessing that we're going to look at. When you're under inability effects, when an ally is under inability effects. So what does this skill do already? Let's take a look. Removes all of the harmful effects on you when you're under inability effects and creates a shield that's proportionate to 20% of your HP on allies for 2 turns. You'll instantly recover a turn afterwards. Okay. So how's it going to work now? See this, I want to see how this works because you can come to his logic. You can interpret this in different ways. So when an ally is under, so the moment you stun an ally, does she automatically, because it doesn't say if it's on her turn or not. Does she automatically cleanse or do something? It cleanses herself anyway. I don't see it cleansing allies. So, all right, I'm not sure how this is going to work. Pretty cool though. That's not bad. So, when you're under inability effects, and now they changed it when an ally. Does it still work? I don't know. You see, this is where I'm a little confused, but whatever. I'll have to see this one in action to actually say anything about it. So the next monster, the Fire Paladin, Cry of Threat. Look, first of all, the threat buff. It's a little underwhelming. You would think that threat is something that's going to work out. I don't know, man. It's just an oracle. Like the threat buff is something like a provoke, and I think what is it? If they receive 3 hits, then the threat buff comes off. An oracle would counter, like with her first skill, would counter the threat buff. An oracle or a magic knight. It's a little underwhelming. But anyway, let's see what she creates. A shield that's proportionate to your max HP on yourself. Now it's all allies for 2 turns. I don't understand why they're giving fire monsters these shields, because Helena has the same shield and it's kind of useless. But anyway, creates a shield that's proportionate to your HP for 2 turns on yourself and activates threat state while the enemy attacks 3 times. The enemy can only attack the target under the threat state when using the attack skill. So it's 3 times. So any oracle, it's an oracle does 3 hits. Still, I don't get it. So anyway, the Light Paladin recovers the hit. All right, so let's go on to the Light Paladin anyway. What skill is that? Justice Strike Awaken. All right, attacks and stuns the enemy for 1 turn with a 15% chance. Recovers the hit point of an ally with the lowest hit point by 10%. This attack will deal more damage according to your max HP. Now what does it do? Recovers the hit point of an ally with lowest HP. Okay. Recovers the hit point. Okay. Well, they gave us this. It recovers the hit point of an ally, including yourself, with the lowest hit point. All right. Big deal. So this is the buff I want to talk about. All right. So we got a buff for Jameer. All right. So, I mean, you guys already know what Jameer does. He resets all skill cooldowns. This was a much needed buff in some ways. What I really want to talk about is his base stats and different ways you can probably build him for different scenarios. Now, I see him kind of going into, it depends on his AI. I could see him in arena defenses, kind of. Again, as I say this, it depends on his AI. But is it going to work on arena defense? Now, in RTA, this can be helpful, but how helpful, I'm not sure. Somebody's going to have to get creative. The places where I see this really working, the one place I see this really, really working is in raids. All right, raids, pretty much now, he takes the slot of 2 monsters. So some people already bring Colleen and then a big heal, and then maybe what do you call it? Like Kona or something with immunity. What I like about this is there's no immunity for raids, at least. There's no immunity involved, so he's not going to steal the buff and get stronger. And then he resets all of your healers. He resets all of your attackers. This is pretty crazy. So for rating purposes, I think he's top-notch monster now. The build that I've thought about with him: speed, crit damage, HP, or speed, hit point, defense, or his whatever the case is, speed, defense, hit point. The only reason why I say hit crit damage is because he has a skill that it's proportionate to the target's max HP. So it could ultimately do a lot of damage. And what's great about him, he's already good for raids. Now he just became better for raids. How far is Jameer going to go? I don't know. People are going to have to get creative with this. The thing is that why I don't think it's going to work out for RTA is you still need somebody to grant immunity for you. It's good that he has the cleanse, but you have no immunity. So monsters like Gani, even though Gani can't reset his 3rd skill, monsters like Gani still could reset his attack bar. This is why these monsters they shine in a certain way, because they reset attack bar. So it's still a little problematic on him getting a turn. If you want to try him out for RTA, I guess Violent Will would be the way to go. Speed, hit point. He has a very high base defense. That's the thing. His base hit points are actually kind of low, but they're not that low where they're atrocious. They're actually good. But the base defense is very high, and the base speed, his I guess he gets speed when he gets awakened. Yeah, plus 15 speed. The base speed is amazing. So here's the other thing about Jameer. I don't know how to build him. Everybody says build him, speed tune him for him to go before your team. But another way to build Jameer is make him super fast. So just so you could get the cleanse going. This is going to have to be determined, but amazing buff on Jameer. I absolutely love it. The Sulphates now. This is one I wanted to talk about. This is actually a pretty nice buff, especially on the water one. The water one just became a semi-RTA unit. I'm not going to say she's great in RTA. The fact of the matter is, when her skill is maxed, when her 3rd skill is maxed, it goes down to a 4-turn cooldown. Now it's at a 3-turn cooldown, and it's a full heal. That's really nice. And then she has a reset in her ability. So she's going to be useful for RTA now. Semi-useful. I guess you can, like, if you can't choose Delphoy, you choose her. Again, no immunity. How it's going to work out, I'm not sure. Is she going to be like a game changer? No. But she's going to be all right. And actually, in Guild Wars, I used to use her in Guild Wars, like to reset Theos and stuff like that. It actually works out pretty well. And now that the third skill is on a 3-turn cooldown, that's actually pretty OP. I actually wish that it would heal through unrecoverable. Then she would be a little bit more useful. All right. Anyway, we're gonna go on the wind Sulphate. This, I like this buff, but these buffs are, oh no, they're not. They're not in effect. So I would have to show you with my Sulphate. But the wind Sulphate has a very high attack. It's like 800 and something. I'll show you guys. But here's the deal. They're gonna change around all of her stats. It was kind of useless. She's a support monster, but her stats never made sense. This is why some people found the wind Sulphate a little bit underwhelming. And me, in my old Giants team, I had her speed, attack. But anyway, so now her shield creates a shield that absorbs. Anyway, I think they show us force field increases the amount of damage that the shield absorbs by 33%. The shield amount is proportionate to the caster's level. And then awaken, shield proportionate to the caster's level, caster's max hit points. Okay. Creates a shield that absorbs the inflicted damage proportionate to your level for all allies. 3 turns and decreases the chance of being attacked with a critical hit. Alright, so I hope they didn't take away the critical hit part, because this was a buff after the fact. I forgot that she even has the anti-crit. Alright, let me show you her base stats as a 6-star. Now, again, they're going to change everything anyway, but it's just good to know what the difference is. Where is she? Did I pull her out of storage? No. Why? Oh, there she is. So these are her base stats. Look at that attack, 878, but her hit points are pretty bad. So now they're going to base it off her max hit points. Hopefully they give her base hit points around somewhere around 11,000. I'm not saying 11,000 on the dot, but 11,000 will help out a lot. And you can build it. If you can see, these are the same runes I had from my Giants video. But yeah, speed, attack I had her on. So hopefully they adjust her properly, because for support monsters, her stats just don't make sense. So let's move on. And we're at the Cobalt Bomber. All right, the Cobalt Bombers now. I don't know. I don't really see this. What does the second skill do right now? Because I had to check it. Attacks all enemies. Each attack has a 25% chance to deal damage and block the beneficial effects. Okay. So now what ends up happening is if you put a dot, the skill cooldown goes down. I see this only for TOA. Is it worth building him for TOA? I don't even think so. But whatever. People like him. It is what it is. That's it on him. I only see it just continuous dots in TOA. I see him being really good for TOA hard. Now Sig, this is a big buff for Sig. People I was reading, people are saying that she's going to be something like a Lyn. So I guarantee you, my next Light and Dark Scroll, I'm going to summon Lyn. So anyway, inflicts damage proportionate to the attack power, whatever. Now it's changing. Frozen Orb, his second skill. Inflicts damage proportionate to your attack power or the enemy's max hit points. This is huge because his third skill already does an insane amount of damage. But now his second skill, especially against bosses, I see people using him in Dragons now. I'm thinking about changing my Dragons team around, maybe taking one of my Tarks out and putting him in, and having Bird, Tark, Luna, Galleon, Sig. That's a really nice. That's a really nice buff. I actually have a second Sig, 6-star, but he's not max skilled. I max skilled my Sig a long time ago. Sig was my first Nat 5. So I'm gonna once this takes place, I'm gonna try it out. Holy Orb for the Light Phoenix. Look, the third skill has nothing to do with any PvP purpose. I really don't see how this is going to work out. So let's just take a look. The Light Phoenix is the attack on the. I have a Light Phoenix anyway. The attack on a Light Phoenix, he's got the second highest attack in the game. The thing is, his third skill is really what needed a buff. All right, removes the beneficial effects or a tweak, not necessarily a buff, a tweak. Removes the beneficial effects and deals damage to all enemies with holy fire and prevents the enemies from receiving beneficial effects for 1 turn. There really is no real use for this skill. I've tried it out in RTA. I built mine in a tanky way. It's just, the fact of the matter is his base hit points are way too low, 9390. And his base speed is just, it's 94 base speed. You know how hard it is to get this Fenix to work? And then the defense is 461. That's a really low defense. They need to tweak this thing. I'm not saying buff them. They need to tweak something. They need to change something around. They got to make the 3rd skill something different. Maybe not a strip. I don't know. This wasn't something this isn't even something I really consider using with the Light Fenix. Maybe, you know what? Oh, no, but it's a cleanse. You know what? I even thought just now using him in Dragon's B10 because of the 2nd skill instead of using Luna. But the thing is, the tower cleanses. It grants immunity and it cleanses. It cleanses and grants immunity. So it's not even worth trying to use him in Dragon's B10. It is what it is. So Ice Volcano. This is big. They're not big, but it's great for TOA purposes. Even for, you know what? I see Sig coming out for PvP purposes in some ways. Added effect freeze for 1 turn if you get a critical hit. So already it's not hard to get increases crit rate, because you start off with 15, he gets 15 when awakened. You start off with 30%. It's not hard to get him up to like 85% crit rate. It's actually, that's a nice little buff on him. I like it. It's more for PvE purposes, but it can be used in PvP. That's good. That's really good. So the Phantom Thief, Showtime. This is cool. Stun rate 10%. How many times does Showtime go off now? Attacks all enemies 3 times. All right, so you have a 30% chance to stun him 3 times. All right, that's cool. Not bad. Some people were throwing. But he has a stun on every turn, so you really don't need. You don't need what do you call it? Despair runes on him. You could go Rage or Fatal Rage with Will runes or Blade runes, whatever you have, and he's actually going to hit very hard. I don't have him 6-star. I don't know what his attack is, but it's pretty high. I think it's probably going to be higher than Lucian, 694. Yeah, he has a very high attack, actually, a super high attack. You pair him with Galleon. That's not. His attack was always super high, so yeah, and it hits 3 times. Maybe a damage test would be good on him. Maybe he's going to be more viable for arena now. Not more than Lucian, but he's going to be more viable for arena now, especially if you have if you use Galleon on your offense. Let's see now the PRA, the fire PRA. Now I read this the other day. So the fire PRA, Wheel of Fire, her 3rd skill. Where is she? Let's just go to her real quick and I'll read off what it is in a moment. Here she is. So the 3rd skill, elongates what it does now, 100% critical chance when used with full HP. Now it elongates the harmful effect granted on the enemy by 1 turn with a 15% chance when used with full HP. I definitely see this for TOA. How do I see this in arena? I don't know. I'm not too sure. And you do it with Galleon, and then you use her 3rd skill, and then she increases it depends on the multiplier on this attack. The multiplier actually I think was pretty good. I know the water one's multiplier is pretty good. So this depends on the multiplier on the attack, but it could probably work out something with Galleon, or I definitely see this working for TOA. You put dots, you use this 3rd skill, you have a chance to stun. It already attacks all enemies 3 times with a spinning circle of fire, with each strike having a 30% chance to stun the enemy for 1 turn. Okay, so you have a chance to stun. You make the dots even longer. I see this definitely for TOA. Anything else? I'm not too sure. Somebody would have to get creative with this one. And I don't have this one 6-star. This is actually the first. I summoned her. She was my first 5-star. I summoned her as an awakened 5-star. Anyway, whatever. The Wind and the Light PRA, Air Slash, added effect, increases attack bar by 100% when used with full HP. I think this is their 2nd skill. It is. That's not so bad at all. See, the light one would actually be pretty interesting, especially if you have her on like violent runes or something. The light one would be the most interesting. If I had more PRAs, I would build. I would build the light one. I just didn't farm enough, and I have I max skilled Luna instead. The mummy. You know what? They keep buffing the mummies. It's like they want them to use the mummies. I don't know. The mummies and the imp champions keep ending up on the buff list, and the cowgirls for some reason. It's like Comtuos has some sort of a fetish with these monsters. It's like you're never gonna make them useful. But anyway, the mummy, water, fire, dark, smother, disturbs hit point recovery for 2 to 3 from 2 turns to 3 turns. Big whoop. Mummy, water, frozen body, passive, freeze rate 30 from 35% to 50%. Okay. Mummy, wind, light, body roll deals 20% of your current HP. Deals 20% of your current HP of your max HP to the enemy as damage. Okay. Mummy, light, soul division, added effect recovers the hit point of a revival target and yourself by 15%. Let's just see what it does. The funny thing is, I summoned an awakened one. Let's just see what it initially does. So, soul division revives the non-target with extremely low hit points and evens the hit point of the revive. All right. So they made the revive a little better. Is it worth building him? I don't really. He's not really worth building though. I don't really like the mummy's kits. So the imp champion, his stun rate went from 35% to 50%. Can he be used? I think somebody uses him. I don't know who. Somebody built him once. I think I saw a video of somebody that built him. I think his second skill does pretty good damage. I'm not even sure. Let's see what his second skill does. I think he has the revenge. Maybe it's his first skill that does really good damage. I think his second skill has a revenge. Yeah, it takes a defense stance, recovering 25% hit point and counter-attacking for 2 turns. Braces the power of thunder, granting all attacks a 35% chance. Yeah, alright, so it's just a stun in his skill. I'm not... let's just see what he gets when he's awakened. Alright, you increase crit rate. Whatever. I'm not too thrilled with the imp champion still. So the cowgirls all got a buff. I actually heard that the dark one ignores the enemy's invincible effect, ignores all damage reduction effects, increases the inflicted damage by 8%. So what if you weaken her attack? It doesn't matter, and she does the same attack. Anyway, this is a nice buff, I believe. Now that the light cowgirl is a secret dungeon, I really should build the dark one. The dark one was a monster they gave us for free. I have her still. I haven't done anything with her. Where is she though? I'm looking for her. There she is. Let's see the awakened stat. Attacks the enemy with a forbidden bullet and grants an effect that ignores the enemy's invincible effects. Okay, the chance of landing a critical hit is also increased by 30%. Which isn't bad. What does she get when she's awakened? Increased crit rate by 15%. So all you need is just a 70% crit rate, and she's going to automatically crit. Attacks the surrounding enemies 2 times. It increases your attack bar by 10%. If you land a critical hit, your critical rate will be increased by 30%. Yeah, she doesn't need more than 70% crit rate. Shoots 3 projectiles, with each projectile having a 30% chance to slow the attack speed for 2 turns. I actually heard that the damage multipliers on her are pretty good. Never used her though. I would have to check this out. All right, this is big actually, especially for whoever owns these beast monks. So the light beast monk stats have been adjusted to better suit a hit point monster. What's going on with the light beast monk? Why are his stats being adjusted? Okay, he has very high base hit points already. It's high. It's above average and very high defense. What does he get when he's awakened? Power up, crushing blow. Okay, that's right. Yeah, so this will weaken defense. Okay, I don't see. Whatever. Let's see what the change is. I don't know what the change will be. He has better base hit points, but his defense is lower, much lower. But his attack is higher, a bit higher. Yeah. So what does he do on his? He puts branding effect. That doesn't sound so bad. He has defend. The thing is, he has this one. This is why people don't like him. He is starting to block beneficial effects. Okay. So they're gonna fix his base stats. The Dark Monkey King. They're turning him from an attack monster to a hit point monster. Let's just take a look at his stats. The thing is, they're probably gonna lower his speed. Maybe he has very high base speed, 118. There's not too many monsters like above 110, for instance. So, like, very rare. I don't know how that's gonna work out. I don't know how anybody with a Dark Monkey is gonna feel about that. The Pixie Shannon is getting to better adjust support type monsters. So I have a 6-star Shannon, and the same thing with the Wind Sulphate. So I already showed the Wind Sulphate's. I already showed the Wind Sulphate stats. But anyway, let's take a look at let's go back and look at their stats real quick. Where is my Shannon? Is she out of? Okay, why can't I find Shannon? There she is. All right. You see, she has atrocious hit points. That's the big one with her. Her base stats are actually very bad. The defense is bad. The attack is bad. The only thing that's good is speed, and that's it. Everything else is bad. But she's a 2-star, so I'm not really looking for anything out of her. I don't know why people are why they're changing this now. Are they going to make it easier for the new players? I guess a lot of new players have come in and they're having problems with Shannon. I don't know. Maybe it's so that you don't 6-star Shannon and they're upping her hit points. We're gonna have to see this one afterwards. It's her hit point. That's the only thing I see them changing her, them increasing her hit points because her hit points are atrocious, and maybe give her a little bit of a defense buff. If they take speed away from her, then that's gonna be a little problematic. But yeah, I don't really understand what they're doing with Shannon, other than increasing hit points. I hope they don't decrease her speed because that's gonna kind of screw the newer players. All right, so we already looked at Cassis's base stats. We'll look at it again. As I said, she has very high base attack. Her hit points are low. Below 10k is not very good, especially to go with her kit. So I built her like a weird hybrid type. Speed, attack, and this was years ago. I haven't touched these runes in years. So, and now the shield. Let's see how it turns out. Some monster skill errors have been resolved. I don't have a light panda, so I don't know. But this one, okay, fix. All right, let's just look at the light panda first. Fix the error of water. Oh, this is the water panda. Sorry, not light panda. Water panda. Reckless assault. Fix the error of Water Panda Warrior's hit points not being decreased properly when the Reckless Assault skill is used on the target granted with Defend. All right. I didn't even know this, but I don't have any monsters that have the Defend ability anyway. So the Light Lich, fix the error of Endless Attachment passive skill not working properly when the hit point is redistributed due to certain skills. Dark Magician, for example, and then Fire and Undying. Okay. And then this one, I don't think people are talking too much about this. This is a little bit of a buff here. For the newer players, especially people that built the Fire Assassin. I remember Proc Ready Gaming. I know I'm going way back now. He hasn't made a video in a long time. He was telling people to build the Fire Assassin. And she was good for it. So this is her. It decreases the damage that all other ally monsters receive by 15% and decreases the recovery amount of every monster on the battlefield by 50%. This effect doesn't accumulate with other similar effects. So if there were people that were using this monster, so I'll read what it does. Lightning Roar. All right. Attacks all enemies 3 times with a furious roar and grants the electric shock effect. The damage increases and ignores all damage reduction effects every time the lightning roar is used. So, Lexi, out of the question. If you were using Darian, out the door. I don't use any of these, but for people that do use this, they're gonna have to go back to the drawing board on their teams now. This is actually a pretty big buff for this dragon, especially with people that don't that use those two specific or even Diaz too. Actually, you can't use anything with a passive that decreases the effects. This is a little nuts here on this one. Anybody that uses Diaz, Darian, or Lexi, people built Lexi specifically for this board because she does branding, and I think she weakens defense. Yeah. What does she get when she's awakened? 15 speed. So that's a pretty decent buff on him. But all right, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know if you like this way I did the video. I know I don't have but you really can't read it off the video anyway. So let me know what you think about the way I did it instead, is showing what the current skills are and what they currently do and the stats and all that stuff. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to everybody later. Have a good one.